Life, work, and academics. Do you feel like you're juggling all three? Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandaranayake. A question I often get posed by my Fast Track and Masterclass students, as well as all of you who have gone through the How to Ace a Law Exam, as well as career guidance playlists on this very YouTube channel, is how can you not juggle all three aspects of your life, work, and academics? The short answer to this is you can't. It's a balancing of interests, and when it comes to all three factors of one's existence, you're going to encounter circumstances in which you're going to have to prioritize one over the other at least once in your life. If you like the type of content that I make on this YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on, do subscribe to the Law Simplified YouTube channel. Leave a comment below so that I have an idea of what other content may help you in your academic and career journeys. And have a look at the comprehensive online law school platform, complete with theory, tutorial, and workshop lessons that I have conducted with first-class law students from all over the world. Right. What exactly do I mean when I say that you're going to have situations in which you have to prioritize either work, life, or academics? There are many occasions when I have conducted Fast Track and Masterclass programs where students have felt stressed and, more importantly, overwhelmed by the level of academics that has been forced essentially on them, and having to prioritize it over, let's say, work commitments or family commitments for that matter. Now, for most of these students, while looking at it from a reactive perspective, essentially having made all the decisions necessary at the inception and then feeling stuck is not ideal. This video is meant for those of you who might be just getting into a law degree or at a stage in your second or third years where you've been given the opportunity to select your electives or to make sure that you have an understanding on the frequency of which your modules are undertaken, whether you're going to take all of it in a bulk or spread it across a particular period. I'd like to advance an idea that I want you to think about before you make these important decisions in terms of your academics. Balancing of interests is quite similar to what a captain would tell you if you're traveling in a boat. What do I mean by this? Imagine you are currently on a boat sitting in the ocean and it's about to traverse its way through the ocean to your destination. As the captain or as the person who's helming this particular boat or vessel, he or she may be at the very back at the engine point. Now, as a passenger, you have a few options, but usually there are two that are quite important. If you are placed at the very front of the boat, the chances of your performance being high are very low. The reason for this, as your captain or your helmsman will indicate, is because there's too much weight in the front, and as a result the boat is bogged down and there's more power that has to be generated to move forward. If you place yourself at the very back, this too is not the ideal situation. The reason for this is having no weight in the front, the chances of capsizing the boat, turning over or tipping over for that matter, is relatively higher. And while this might sound anticlimactic, the ideal position to be in is relative to the center. The reason for this is so that there is not too much stress, so to speak, on the engine itself, and it's not going to bog you down in terms of performance since you're essentially in the middle of the boat rather than all the way at the top or in the front. Consider the front of the boat metaphorically as your work. Circumstances in your life may be such that your work has to be prioritized since there might be several fires to put out, so to speak. You need to make decisions on the fly, and things have to happen yesterday as opposed to even today or tomorrow. Procrastination in work is relatively frowned upon. As a result, if you try to put your academics into the same time frame as your work, you're going to feel, just like the boat, bogged down and overwhelmed. Because you might have critical aspects of your work that are deliverables immediately, which you might not be able to circumvent considering your examinations, your assignments, or the studies that you have to do. Similarly, consider the back of your boat as the family commitments, your personal life. Now, if you were to put your academics and the time that you are going to study, or your examinations and assignments in that particular category, chances are, much like the boat, your relationships will also implode or capsize. So ideally then, what you should do is to balance both interests by dividing your time equally and staying right in the middle. Now, how exactly would you do that academically? This is where the decision-making aspect that I spoke about earlier, essentially if you are a student who's just entering the LLB or the law degree, or someone who's deciding on your electives in the second or third years, comes in handy. There are two fundamental decisions that you need to officiously make. One amounts to the subjects that you're going to select, whether they are bulky, whether they require a lot of attention, and the topics therein that you will have to prepare for in your examination. The second is the frequency at which you can take these modules. Imagine you are a career professional, someone in a mid-career status, someone who has some time, and perhaps the degree that you're doing, this law degree, is not essentially something that is tethered to your work. It's a value addition, and it'll help you pivot to a higher profession later on in life. If this is the case, don't intensify your degree. Don't take everything in one go, spread it out across a number of years. Not only will you perform better because you're taking a limited number of subjects and therefore you can focus better, but also, since you're not going to be overwhelmed with subject matter, you'll enjoy these modules as well. And what's more, you'll learn more that will benefit the society more moving forward. Now, balancing of interests is easier said than done, and everyone's life circumstances are different from one another. But if there is one takeaway that you can take from this video, is that don't ever try to compartmentalize your academics into either your work or your personal life. Don't try to manage or parallel your work with academics or your life with academics. Try and balance the time out so that you are able to not juggle the three aspects of your life, but correlate and coexist with each other. That being said, until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.